And welcome back, guys. This is game 3 rather, of Fifth Harmony versus Team Chemistry. Right now, 1-1 in the series. Just as a reminder, being casted by LoveDi and a Wumbo, bringing you the action of this number 2 seed versus number 10 seed battle. It's going kind of the way that we thought it would, but we're getting back into picks and bans. Fifth Harmony losing a single ban because of Mother Milk and unlisted eSub, who is now listed. Good for him. Good play again for Ascension, but again, a Nunu ban being their first ban, even though Kha'Zix was doing pretty well in the hands of Ugas. And then a Caitlyn ban too. So fairly standard bans, at least in accordance to last game.
Wait, are you seeing bans coming down right now?
Yeah, are you not able to see bans?
I can't see anything.
All
Wait,
right.
my game's frozen. Okay.
Is it like you're half spectating, half playing?
No, it just says Infinite Rampage is banning 27 seconds, and it's been 27 seconds for about 27 seconds.
Right. We'll remake. Let me tell him.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate. You'll have to.
I'm
that happened
going
to
to
me.
relog.
Yeah, you have to relog. I'm just gonna tell him to relog, but as it stands right now, Nunu, Vhagar, Orianna ban for the side of Team Chemistry. And
I will just watch the game from the stream.
no, we reloaded. Did you redo your client?
Yeah, I'm relogging now. I'm back in.
Alright, cool. It should, so I think when that bug happens, it says something like it'll say something like spectating disabled. That actually just happened to me, but I was able to catch it before it happened. Before we went in.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Yeah, it's weird. So I believe the bans were Nunu, Vhagar, Orianna for Team Chemistry, and Caitlyn Cassidy for Fifth Harmony. Just tell them that we're ready. Feels bad. No coaches in this game. All to their lonesome, these teams. But we are getting back into this. A little bit of a technical glitch, as Rito is accustomed to.
Right,
First
and of course
bans.
we still can't see some of their spells on the right side.
Yeah. First bans, I believe, are when you are supposed to have those missed bans. So, Fifth Harmony already coming out on top, doing their due diligence in the proper order of their bans. They should just kind of plow right through this, though, considering it's the same band still. No champions.
Nunu banned away again.
Yep, they banned Nunu, Vhagar, and Orianna.
Are we going to have the exact bans again?
Yeah, I think it would be weird.
Which means a Cassidy ban for
yeah,
Fifth Harmony. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Caitlyn Cassidy. I feel like
it was.
Ban out the Akali, but they can't make any adaptations unless they do them in the second round. So I think Fifth Harmony should actually put their first pick on that Akali because it did really well, and it even seemed like Purring didn't have a grasp of the matchup or just how to play against Akali, considering she hasn't really been played that much.
It may have just been a bad read. Taking the teleport, Purring may have assumed Akali would also take the teleport and was surprised to see the Ignite come out instead.
Ooh, that's
we see Twitch
pretty big prioritization on Twitch. I'm surprised to see that. It did do pretty well last game, though, but I wouldn't say that's really through diligent effort from Fifth Harmony.
Yeah, I'm honestly a little surprised. I mean, Rock'em Razor does also play Twitch.
Ooh, Twisted Fate. I love Twisted Fate. Haven't seen him in such a long time. That's going to be cool.
It was blind pick, though, and I wouldn't say Akali definitely has a bad matchup into it. So, I mean, that's Akali would not be the worst idea in the world to pick again.
No, I'd actually argue that Akali or LeBlanc is a better matchup for that Akali, considering she does have the distortion and additional escape, which you really need playing against Akali. But yeah, that has even weaker early laning, which is a little bit of a discrepancy from the LeBlanc. But additionally, Vi being picked up for Corpin.
Uh, Trundle being locked in very early on.
Man, I haven't seen
Interesting.
him either. What is this? Throwback bands like what season 4?
I do like the team chemistry composition so far though, because they could literally be playing Minesweeper to find this Twitch. With the TF ulti, they can immediately find him and then ulti with the Vi, and that's a bye bye Twitch.
Yep, Vi, bye.
Oh no!
Yep, there it is.
Yeah, we have the Akali coming in once again. Looks like they want to have a very scary front line running forward to keep the heat off the Twitch in this game as well. I wonder if this is going to be a Trundle jungle or a Trundle top or even Trundle support. But I really hope they're not blind picking Trundle support, assuming it's going to be a melee.
No, I don't think they'd blind pick Trundle support because they have the Twitch. I think they're gonna go for the Lulu again. I'd actually expect Team Chemistry to ban out the Lulu, considering they already locked the Twitch and they know that they're going to want to put a peel support with that. So either Lulu or Janna. Pick the Janna and ban the Lulu is what I say they do. But they are banning out that Kha'Zix. Still the potential for a jungle Trundle, which I actually really like, and considering that the just buff Bomby Cinder would be not even a bad pickup.
If Trundle manages to play like a god, he can also pillar the Vi Q when it's being charged up and also when it's being used. Kind of stop it short. Very good counter ganking potential as well.
Oh, smart from Fifth Harmony to ban out that Vayne. Excuse me.
Devon.
Yep. Actually, there's a teacher at my old high school whose name is Devon.
Devon. Oh, wow.
Weird how things come around, but a Gragas ban, I find that to be pretty curious.
What does Gragas bond? Oh god.
We're
What
both
this
doing it now.
Gragas bond it could potentially be towards is actually towards the jungle because Gragas body slam, of course, good way to cancel out the Vi Q again. Maybe they want to limit the options that UGLS is going to have into this jungle matchup. We can see that 3 ADC bans have been targeted towards Rock'em Razor. Looks like he's still going to be able to pick up the Tristana, though, considered one of the strongest junglers in the current meta. Despite not being able to build any of that lethality on Tristana, just the scaling she has, the synergy she has with Shiv, very big pain to deal with later on in the game.
Could we see more flex here? Jax being hovered now, hovering onto the Shen.
Oh,
Infinite
playing
Rampage.
Shen into Swain, though. Not a fun matchup.
Yeah, Infinite Rampage had a pretty good showing into the Poppy. Did well despite a losing lane.
But we did see one of the problems is Swain is 100 times more of a lane bully than Poppy is. And we could see just how hard that matchup was for Infinite Rampage in Game 2. He was constantly getting poked out, blinking health bars throughout a lot of that early laning phase. I can expect to see much worse coming from the Swain. Yes, you do have the Doran Shield, which does do nicely into, I assume, a Deathfire touch Swain, but at the same time, you're just going to get poked out tons throughout this laning phase. So picking up the Shen, again, they must be willing to sacrifice that laning phase, knowing it is going to be a tough matchup. Just hoping he can perform on the Shen this time around.
Yeah, as you were so succinctly describing that situation, both supports were picked up. Lulu on the side of Fifth Harmony and Rakan for Team Chemistry. I love Rakan. He's so strong.
So these are peculiar compositions. They do seem overall balanced, but not a real true direction on what exactly they might want. Team Chemistries is a little more straightforward. It's a very nice 5v5ing skirmishing composition. A lot of mobility and possible playmaking over longer ranges. Of course, the TF Fate. Managing to come down, you can ultimate into team fights, initiate. Of course, Vi's got a ton of range with both her flash Q, giving her a lot of ground she can cover at once and then ultimate. for the Assault and Battery. And of course, as we know, Rakan is one of the most mobile supports, if not champions, in the game right now. So really a lot of long range engage they can go for specifically. And of course the Tristana and the Swain are some decent AoE. But at the same time, there's not really anything that this composition excels in. That, yes, they get the winning lanes in the top and the bottom, but in the mid lane they do sacrifice a lot of pressure because they want this level 6 Twisted Fate maybe to support these winning lanes in the sides.
Yeah, I think it really boils down to if Purring and Corpin can get some really good team play to happen and force really, really uneven number ganks, 2v1, 3v1 ganks, 4v2 ganks down in bot lane or wherever have you. But looking at the composition team chemistry, I feel like they've really bought into this dive Twitch build or dive Twitch team composition. You know, they have Vi to potentially ult in or use Assault and Battery, Twisted Fate to ulti behind her, and Rakan to dive in. But Swain doesn't really fit into that because he's low mobility and like a sustained fighter. Similarly, on the other side, it's a mixed bag for Fifth Harmony. You know, Akali can sort of deliver the Shen and put more dive onto the Tristana, but I feel like this game's kind of just a competition of who can kill the hyper carry faster.
Right, and it's important to note also the Assault and Battery coming from the Vi is almost entirely nullified from Akali's Shroud. Because if she manages to throw down that shroud after she gets focused by the Vi, she turns invisible. So yes, the ultimate is still channeled, but there's no follow-up that can come in afterwards. They need to have the Twisted Fate ult accompanying it just to make sure there's follow-up. So really, there's only one real priority target I can see this Vi ulting, and that's the Twitch. So it's really coming down as a matter of whether or not they can finish off that Twitch on that first engage.
Yeah, definitely. Especially even if they do, we saw a really good showing from One Lonely G on the Sakali last game in a much tougher matchup. Now she has an easier matchup. Taking that ignite once more could snowball even harder than she did last game. You know, we saw her pick up most of her gold from that triple kill down bot after a botched gank from Team Chemistry. But I mean, it's a dual threat comp right now for Fifth Harmony. If they don't take out the Twitch and One Lonely G is really scaling hard, then it's going to be extremely difficult for them to win those fights. Because you take out one threat, you still have an Akali, a slippery Akali, to deal with.
Something to note as well is that this Trundle does not have a true target he can ulti to try and steal stats from. There's no true tank on the side of Team Chemistry, so really it's going to come down to, I guess, which target they want to burst. He may actually steal the stats from a Squishy, which won't help him much, but it'll steal what little stats that might be on that Tristana or Twisted Fate to try and burst them down faster.
Yeah, and then even if they get out with a little bit of HP, the dot damage that comes in from Trundle's ultimate will help secure those kills. As well as, you know, I can't imagine having an ignite. If they really want to delete and take out the Tristana, put Trundle ulti and ignite on her, that would be pretty annoying and tough to deal with.
Really comes down to just execution. In these lower level leagues, it's composition can only bring you so far. It really comes down to just how comfortable you are with the champions and which players can step up specifically when it matters most. So getting into game 3 now, we are going to be getting into the final game of the day. We have Team Chemistry on the red side versus Fifth Harmony on the blue side. 1-1 for both teams, and we're loading into the Rift now.
Yeah, and already instant buy on the Doran's Shield for Infinite Rampage. Not sure if I'm a fan of it. I think a Rejuve start might have been better.
A triple Rejuve start? The Korean start?
Yeah, because I mean, if you're going to get poked, get some regen, facilitates the build of that Tiamat. Going to get a little bit quicker with the Rejuve beat, similar to that Warwick start. But
I'll be honest, I think that build is a little bit overrated, especially now that Doran Shield does give you a lot of early regen as well. I don't see any real reason to go for the triple Rejuve start. Yes, you can build one of those Rejuve beads into the Tiamat, but after that, you don't really want to be building a Warmogs in this meta, and I don't know. I feel like it is definitely a little overrated, and it's why we haven't seen it built much in the pros in the last few weeks.
I definitely see where you're coming from. Looking at the item builds across the board, one Luigi looking like he wants to snowball. Started with the amplifying tome. That's pretty
And
ambitious.
yeah, I'm a little disappointed again with the summoner spell choice from Purring. Yes, he didn't take TP this time, which would have been a grave mistake. But taking the barrier, in most cases, when you're dealing with an assassin like Akali, like Zed, you want to be taking the exhaust, not the barrier. Because, yes, there is a chance you can manage to barrier away some of the burst and survive, but if you're not under tower when this is going on, that barrier is not going to save you in an extended fight. They're just going to hop on you once again. Do so a little bit of trading, though. TF going to be trying to take advantage of that early laning phase from the Tristana.
Yeah, I'd agree with that point. Actually, I'm a really big proponent of taking, especially against melee assassins, taking exhaust instead of barrier, just because you can block a lot more damage. The damage reduction really strong, whereas you can only block so much damage with a barrier. Change of pace from last game, at least it's looking to be.
Oh god. Purring is going to be getting equalized in these trades if he keeps trying to go for autos like that. You're supposed to go for autos when the Akali comes up to hit the minions. That's when you go for the trades. When you go that far up to try and get a blue card auto off, you're really just trading HP for HP because oh, the level 2 spike early on.
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna be able to get in unless she flashes or something.
But really do manage to get a nice little trade for it, especially since there's no Doran shield for either bot lane. Going to be sustaining a little bit. As I just pointed out,
with a really
don't
early
go
gank.
that forward.
Channeling the Vault Breaker. Nothing to be had
Oh, wait,
there, but
what?
she does get spotted
Our directed
out.
cameras are different. Yeah, our directed cameras are not showing us the same thing. While you were talking about that little jungle fight over Scuttle Crab, I was watching top lane.
Oh, I'm moving it manually. I'm bouncing between characters. Actually, hold that thought. Corpin is actually fighting Ugas right now. He's getting very low. Purring tried to flash gold card, but was slightly out of range, and Ugas forced to flash. That's a lot of early game pressure going.
I mean, not only was he out of range, he didn't have vision yet. They put down the trinket after he was long gone. There was actually no chance of him managing to get that gold card auto off. So yes, they do wind up trading the flashes in the end. But TF went for a flash that did not guarantee anything. And losing a lot of the pressure in that lane because of it.
Ooh,
Uh-oh.
Yvette actually went way too deep to try to get that heroic entrance. Gets chunked pretty low. Similarly, Jungle Milk going for more than he deserves also gets chunked out. So really huge trades being handed on either side. Now, this is a massive wave bottom.
Yeah, we can see also in the top lane, Infinite Rampage is doing a little bit better in the 1v1. He's actually keeping up so far in CS. Assuming Swain has perfect CS and this next wave is going to only be down 1, which is a lot better than I would have expected in the Swain versus Shen matchup. Whoa. Probably going a little aggressive, knowing there's no flash on the TF.
Yeah, hopefully for Purring, his flash will be up by the time Lone Lonely Juice hits level 6. Otherwise, it's pretty much death. Yeah,
A big wave has collected on the top side, but Vi is just going to be backing away instead of trying to take advantage of that shoved lane.
Yeah, Ugas actually had earlier back. I'm actually really not a fan of both these junglers not going for their jungle items. I feel like you miss out on so much sustain, especially for Vi. You want to be handing your blue buff over to your mid laner so he can stay pressured and using your jungle item to fill that hole of mana sustain. But especially in this lane matchup where Purring is going to get jumped on as soon as One Only G hits level 6, you really want to keep One Only G pressured under her tower so that she can't really dive you, and otherwise she'll miss CS.
I do kind of like the Trundle build though. Assuming that's going to be a Tiamat first item, Trundle isn't exactly the fastest wave clear in the world. Does help
100%,
him
yeah,
finish
100%
off
gonna be a tier one.
Golem camps and Raptor camps with definitely a little bit of an easier time. I do like that. Oh god, is that a W max for TF? Let's double check really quick. Okay, no. Okay, that was just a huge chunky W. Oh, we have an all-in in the top lane.
Entrance in bot lane. Ugas coming down for a gank, but is pretty low mana. Corpin getting a chunk taken out of by Ugis. But
Both top laners are brought pretty low, but Swain manages to hit 6 first, so now it looks like he's a little out of trouble for now.
yeah, has flash, could potentially go for a dive, but
Ooh, I don't know if I do that. Oh, he's going for it.
He's going for it.
God, dude.
There goes damage is taken
lost
down.
it.
He gets taunted under towers, so he's actually gonna die.
Oh, God.
That is unfortunate. Similarly in bot lane, Rackham jumping onto Jungle Milk gets the E on top of him, but no more follow-up damage as she got polymorphed by Mother Milk.
The only way that wins... Oh. Wait, hold on. What happened to the stream? It's not playing anything.
Oh, it didn't transition. It was a bug with OBS. My bad, guys.
We just had the stream going for 7 minutes of that. Oh, God.
It's been a long day. My apologies.
Okay, alright. What have you guys missed out? First Blood, Color C on Swain, dives, and, it didn't work. Because
Yeah, really,
he
there's
missed
not
half
much
his
really
abilities.
happened. There was just a really bad failed
Yeah,
dive
there's-
from the Color C. But it's
But
been
you've
farming.
only seen, there's only been a couple misplays, and then there was a failed dive in the top lane. First Blood does go over to the Shen solo. That's all you missed so far. Woohoo!
Yeah, I think at this point for the top lane matchup, Infinite Rampage, he's already got his Spectre's Cowl. I think he's going to be outscaling the damage from Color C's because he's going for that Rod of Ages. And he's not going to have that damage soon enough to chunk down Infinite Rampage, as you can already see here. Pretty equal trade, mostly due to the minions actually. For
Right,
Color
but
C.
Swain uses 2/3 of his mana just to go for that trade, while Shen's going to be able to heal that up just fine with the Doran Shield and the Spectre's Cowl. He's going to have a ton of regen available to him, and he won't have a problem at all regenning that back up.
So First Blood, still kind of an easy going early game. Both these teams don't really like to do too much in the early game, which, I mean, I always like to just come out the gate and start trying to make some ganks happen, but it seems to be one. And spotted out very early, very nice respect dash from Infinite Rampage. As Corpin got spotted out on a ward, level 6 now coming out for most champions. I believe Ugis is the only one who hasn't gotten his ulti yet. So how do you see these team fights playing out, since it's just going to be easy farming for the next few minutes?
It really comes down to who initiates first. There's not really any clear initiation besides the Shen taunt on 5th Harmony, but they will be doing a great job in more disruptive team fights. They have both the Akali and the Trundle diving in. Not exactly the most peel in the world either. Uh-oh, we got a little bit of fighting going on. Flash getting burned by the Vi. I think there's just an easier time for team chemistry on figuring out how they want to team fight. They do have the tools for it. Of course, they have the gold card. They have the Vi, Assault and Battery, and of course the Recon. Very good initiation as well. So really, I expect team chemistry to start fights, and 5th Harmony to try and kind of kite back and re-engage once they find their own terms on the fight.
I see these engages being pretty difficult for 5th Harmony. All they really have is a Flash Dash or a good Trundle Pillar, which are both not the easiest or most secure abilities to land.
I do kind of expect them to 1-3-1 again, because I can't see Swain or TF really being able to match this Akali later on in the game. She doesn't have the TP, of course, but she can definitely pressure with that and hopefully have the Shen stand united kind of cover for any weaknesses in global pressure that might provide.
I think actually, if they let it scale and go as far as they did last time, Color C will actually be able to out-sustain Wumbo's damage, but only if she doesn't have Ignite. So I think a 1-3-1 would be a pretty great idea for team chemistry, but as it stands right now, actually, Purring's also going for a scaling build. Could go for a GLP or a Rod of Ages. I don't agree with it personally. I feel like you should be doing a lot more damage.
I do kind of like the Rod of Ages on Twisted Fate. I know in worse matchups in a lot of cases, Twisted Fates will go for the Rod of Ages. It's pretty safe. you basically become unkillable in the 1 versus 1. You of course have the sustain to clear out waves. Not the worst idea in the world, it's just going to take longer to scale up, and with how slow this game currently is, that shouldn't be a problem. I'm expecting the Rod of Ages from the Swain as well. That seems to be typically the go-to for most Swain players. Oh, we might have an all-in though.
Yeah, getting
Ignite
jumped
goes down.
on now. There's the Ignite ticking away.
Uh-oh.
One Luigi got the ult on her. The blue card salute from Purring isn't able to live through that, but still gets the trade kill on account of the towers. Now in top lane, Ugas having a gank himself, going on to Color C. He's getting chunked very, very low. Infinite Rampage with a good follow flash picks up that kill, so 2-0 for his Shen. But Corpin definitely going to pick that one up. And Ugas actually can't win this
the 1v1.
Yep.
He wants it anyway.
Yep. I don't think he can win it, but Corpin doesn't see that way, so gonna back out. Actually, T-Mod's pretty hefty damage for Ugas, and he does have the damage or attack damage reduction. It's pretty strong.
This is another issue with pathing. The Shen, after you complete that dive, you definitely want to start walking back towards your Trundle. Just in case, on the off chance there is a counter gank coming in from the Vi, that is the safest route because she can't really 1v2 you at this point in the game. So really, walking towards that tries an unnecessary risk. They do manage to get the dive, get the flash trade in return as well. Hopefully give Shen a little bit more room in this 1v1. But just a little pathing error.
Yeah,
We're all in, so
getting jumped on again. Forced to burn. Actually, I don't think he really needed to burn the barrier there.
He buried very early. We just wasn't sure if he was going to get all in, and we can see that Akali's just going to be able to heal up all that trade. And now that she knows there's no barrier and no flash on this TF, and she's still got her flash herself, probably going to see another dive coming in very soon. She's still got the Bilgewater Cutlass active as well.
Yep, definitely expect that. No summoners for Purring. Tough situation for him to be in. Should be calling on his jungler to help, because they do have a fair amount of CC to try to capitalize on One Lonely G. If she does dive and overextend on their tower, can lock her under and use that tower to their advantage.
We might be having a collapse in the mid lane. Dawn and Rakan are coming mid, maybe? They're coming mid, but there's really going to be no follow-up. Maybe they're just trying to get some vision.
Yeah, Racker Mazer's got a huge CS lead right now. He's about 30 CS lead, which is almost 2 kills. And if he builds an Infinity Edge, I would like to see him build Infinity Edge first. Could go for the Static Shift first, but regardless, I imagine he'll have a pretty easy time going in onto this Twitch.
Dwayne just took 3 to. Oh god, that's a 1v4 initiation.
Okay, Corpin actually uses Assault and Battery onto Jungle Milk, but he is getting polymorphed. Fails a flash, tries to go over the opposite side of the wall. That's a face planting, and then on the other side, a lot of damage being exchanged around. Jungle Milk actually trying to flash a 4. They have so much more going on. Trying to flash a 4 Ugas, but not going to happen as multiple disengages in just a 2-for-0 trade in favor of Team Chemistry.
That's just a really ambitious dive. They didn't really have vision of the Dragon Pit. Vi just ulties into 4 people. They're not quite sure who to focus. Tristana gets caught out alone and dove. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely questionable. They didn't have the vision there. Now they're trying to translate it into a tower take, but definitely not going to happen. Infinite Rampage is there. I think they still could have went for that dragon, actually, at the end of that, but Ugas is very low.
Overall, a net gain for Fifth Harmony. They do manage to take advantage of the aggression, and they don't walk away with the Drake, but they walk away with a couple kills, only burn a few summoners for it. Definitely what they wanted to get out of it, because now that's an item spike for both the Akali and the Twitch, and those are very scary item spikes. Those are the kinds of spikes that are definitely going to provide a lot more pressure for these 2 carries.
Yep,
with no flash still available on the TF, he has to be very careful of how he positions himself. But it looks like we might have a dive or a collapse in the mid lane.
Yeah, it's a smart adaptation from Team Chemistry to put a lot more pressure in this mid lane, considering that was kind of the pressure point that Fifth Harmony were using to their advantage last game. But similarly, in top lane, LoveDi just finally picked up for the Color C. And an item yet to be finished for Infinite Rampage.
Right, he is kind of split building. He wanted to get the Tiamat done so he could match some of that pressure he was getting in the top lane. Now this will help him clear waves a lot easier, and of course he still has the HP regen coming from it as well. I'm actually curious to see what he decides to build with that cloth armor and null magic mantle. He might be going for first item gargoyles. I wouldn't say that's the smartest choice.
Yeah,
or maybe a locket?
They want this dragon. Fifth Harmony are back down in that bot lane. Taking it.
Maybe a very early Aegis.
They do pick it up pretty handedly. No response from Team Chemistry. They're not trying to have a repeat performance. Getting 3 kills to Fifth Harmony, and Purring noticed that they were gonna come towards him and smartly backs off. So you're gonna see just a little bit more scaling happening. Both these teams just kind of want to farm up similar to last game. We were talking earlier about One Lonely G's opportunity to try to dive Purring, but he actually missed it. There's both summoners up for Purring, so nothing. I don't really think he can form a dive unless he gets him to about half and then can combo him again. But Color C actually using this pressure is gonna get the tower. Now he's in retreat, but Infinite Rampage and Ugas and Lonely G are there. Kill gets handed over to Lonely G, and that's the person that you want it to go on, really.
Right, but he does manage to get the first tower gold in time. So that's going to be a nice little boost of about 600 gold to him. He is down 0-3, but at least he manages to grab that little bit of boost for himself, and of course give a little bit of global gold to his team as well. Looks like we might have a collapse 2v2 start.
Yep, there's Corbin ulting onto Lonely G, and she's getting Chain CC to death, but they're just coming to Stand United. Could not see that one channeling through as the dash goes onto Corbin, and now they're aggressing onto Purring. He's going to go down as well. It's really just Team Chemistry not respecting the global pressure from the Stand United.
That's one of the issues also with taking this barrier over this exhaust in that 2v2 trade. If they can't 100 to 0 that Akali during the time the assault and battery is going down, then she's just going to have time to recuperate. And her shroud, of course, the submarine's still going down as well. They didn't respect that, and they just didn't have the damage to finish off the main threat in that fight.
Yeah, I'd like to see now Ugas make some very, very pressured plays here now that he has that Rift Herald. Very small window of time to use it, before you know it's gonna go up and you just kind of have to use it or lose it. So 4-0 now onto Lonely G. Oop, Jungle Milk.
Walalo.
One trade.
Tons of damage.
Jungle Milk's
One
gonna win
fervor
this one.
stack.
Roaming down, but he
in.
might have overstepped his boundaries, using the respite to block out on some auto attacks from Purring, but Lonely G is trying to flash into heroic entrance, but Yvette whiffs that pretty hard. And now Mother Milk's actually getting caught out here by Rackham Razor, but Jungle Milk is in his back pocket.
He's got the rocket jump,
Polymorph, Exhaust, Wild Growth onto him. Now everyone getting out, everyone's trying to follow these fights, going all around bot lane and mid lane. Now Yvette is running around, charming people up. Corbin's trying to follow up the damage, but they're getting fairly low on the side of Fifth Harmony. Now One Lonely G has opened the fight up, taking out one. He gets taken down himself, and Color C is in pursuit of Jungle Milk. He's going to land it, but there comes Purring. These low health bars, very alluring.
Oh, nice
a good Spirit's Refuge, but it doesn't matter. He's still going, still has the gold card. Now a good chain from Yvette's going to pick up Infinite Rampage. Is he going to go down? The damage is nearly there. He's going to get exploded, but that armor, that cloth armor, comes in clutch. What a fight.
They do manage to chase, and we could see as soon as the Akali came around the corner, she was immediately focused. She gets exhausted at the perfect time and does get focused down. She does manage to get one kill in return, but overall that means that there's pressure going over onto the side of Team Chemistry, and it looks like they're going to be able to get a tower for themselves.
Yep, not all kills. They do get the pressure advantage, so it is going to be another tower. They could rotate mid lane and get that tower as well. They choose to do so, but low health bars on pretty much everyone. So that's Color C, but that's account of the Swain sustain.
I do like how they gave all that local gold over to the Tristana as well. They need to give her time to scale up. She's already got a very sizable CS lead over Jungle Milk, and along with that that local gold she just received from the tower, she should at least be receiving her first item spike now. He does go for the ship first item, hopefully going to be getting Infinity Edge second. I don't want to see another Blade of the Ruin King.
Yes, 100%.
Ah, that's a zeal! He bought another zeal!
Oh my god.
No!
It's definitely interesting, but actually the funny thing is that a Blade of the Ruin King would be better in this situation with a Trundle and a Shen on the other side, but Harriet is called down from. See if Color C gets jumped on. Lucas is actually getting pretty low, doesn't have any magic resistance.
They're all in it. They want to force this Rift Herald.
Yep, Color C. They actually, yeah, that's all they needed to do. One hit is enough. Trying to equalize that tower, and they do 2-2 in towers for each team. Not going to get much more from the Rift Herald, but still, interestingly,
they do manage to use it at a very important time, because while they were pressuring the mid lane, they attracted multiple members' attentions. They also managed to get the bottom tower as well. So that global gold that went down on the side of Team Chemistry when they won that earlier fight immediately gets equalized on the other side. They managed to give up 2 towers almost immediately after.
Yeah, only a 300 gold lead. Now both teams seem to be posturing for this next dragon. Seeing as it is yet another mountain, that's a really big one that you want to keep away from that Tristana, or otherwise she'll just start chunking towers and you can hardly stop her.
And both of these teams could definitely utilize it. ADCs are pretty strong at taking care of Barons very quickly. Some nice sustain as well means that they'd be able to sneak a Baron on either side quite effectively without worrying too much about the penalties. Looks like Fifth Harmony are going to be able to move towards this dragon first. They want to get it to
spotting it out, but it doesn't look like they want to contest it. It looks like they actually want to go for this mid lane tower.
Got 4 going on it right now, but the rest of the team's collapsing. Swain does have his teleport ready. Tristana's tanking it. Oh god, she's still tanking it.
There goes Infinite Rampage. Actually got taunted under the tower. I'm not sure they can actually get this.
Oh
no. A good pillar from Uga splits them up, as now Yvette's trying to run amok and start charming some people, but that is not the case here. Uga's in the front line. Corbin actually used Assault and Battery on him, which means it's not up for Lonely G, and seeing as such, she goes in, but gets the deleted by Rockham, and picks up a 2-for-1 kill.
They got the taunt onto the TF, they're not done yet.
Yep,
oh, nice pillar, keeps him in tower range.
Yep, now Rockham is trying to deal as much damage as he can to Infinite Rampage, but actually gets out with the Stand United. Now Ugas aggressing onto the Color C. Rockham Razor still dealing out some free damage. Now Jungle Milk is the target for Color C, but Color C is being the targeted himself. Does pick up Mother Milk on the way out, but not too clean of an ace, but they do get it.
Man. They just fought too close around that tower. They went a little too hard for it. For whatever reason, there's 2 waves of minions and an entire team posturing around that mid tower, and out of everyone who tanks it, you have Keith McBrief on the Tristana tanking it. Yeah, really, you managed to have your ADC lose half his health right before the fight even starts. You cannot keep that fight going. You disengage as best you can, and you stop trying to turn around for kills. They overextended. They keep trying for a little bit more, and they got punished huge for it.
Yeah, maybe a Bork actually would help, though. I mean, we saw how long Ugas was tanking up free hits from this Tristana, and he was in there for quite some time.
Right, and I'm really questioning why, out of all things, you go for the rapid-fire Shiv combo. It's not like you're sieging like that very often, which is where that would excel the most.
Ooh, is Lonely G going to get caught out here? Is able to take out Perry, but trades his life for it. That's putting another kill on the Tristana. I wouldn't exactly call that worth.
It all depends on what they manage to get for it in return. That's the major threat against the Tristana, currently down for another 30 seconds. Looks like they're going to be trying to siege in the mid tower, but they don't really have the frontline backup for it right now.
Yeah, it's similar to game 1. We saw Rockham get a really sizable CS lead over Jungle Milk, but it gets nullified by the kill lead that Jungle Milk ends up acquiring later into the game. So you can see 3-0-2 for him, 2-2-1 for Rockham Razor, as well as a 50 CS lead. Now, pretty big wave building bottom. Would imagine they'd put Jungle Milk over that, and they aren't. Now they're trying to call down. This is the issue, though, with this team comp right now, is you have 3 melee and 2 range, but the ranged champions aren't your main wave clear. Or at least Twitch is your main wave clear, but you don't have wave clear in the other side lanes. So it makes it difficult to try to, get this Twitch into a position where he can farm up without having to defend waves or defend towers the entire time. But seeing as this mid lane tower does give up a lot of pressure, if they lose it, they want to keep it up.
And that Shen W is definitely going to be important for that. He's going to manage to tank up a lot of autos while he lets the Twitch free hit onto the wave.
Yep, definitely, especially when Rackham is all auto attacks, being that traditional backline ADC that is Tristana. Spirit's Refuge going to help huge to block a lot of her damage. You can already see it being used there. A good pillar knocks Color C into tower range, but Yvette actually is running in, using that charm, trying to get everyone down, but the damage is coming in from Jungle Milk. They get the ulti onto One Lonely G, but it does not matter. Team Chemistry are in retreat, and Lonely G is running amok in their backline. Triple kill for Jungle Milk. They could actually do Baron from this.
Right,
yeah,
and this is one of the issues with this composition. Yes, it can siege, but when they're not getting the engage they want and they can't burst down a target immediately, they will lose this fight. Akali is huge, Twitch is huge, and they're not focusing down either right now. They're just getting run over by the team composition. When they let Team Chemistry go for the initiation that Team Chemistry thinks they want, but then they don't manage to execute it correctly, that's the perfect conditions for Fifth Harmony to strike. They want them to burn everything they can to move towards them first, and then counter engage immediately after.
Yeah, that was a pretty beautiful counter engage. I mean, they sort of, it was like Yvette saw Khaleesi start tanking tower, but that was only because he tried to poke them under the tower. And then he got pillared and stayed tanking, so she was just like, well, I guess I have to go in anyway. And so Yvette ran in, used the heroic entrance, started charming people up, but by then he was already too low. They didn't have a frontline anymore, so they just got destroyed. And speaking of frontline, not one here present for Rock and Razor. Wow, deleted.
You gotta give him a target to jump to, man.
Left his support hanging.
Yeah, you can see that's Rock'em Razor, and then he's immediately moving up again. Just completely mispositioning over and over again, and you could see just how much damage those autos are doing too. On those Baroned up minions, that's 70 damage and auto. It's nothing. And he's still going for Blade of the Rune King again. What are you, reckless?
Yeah, it's better this time though, because he's got the 2 health stackers, Gargoyle, Stoneplate, and Titanic Hydra on Ugas, but regardless, getting a pretty huge lead here. They could translate it top lane, get the inhibitor, get the inner mid tower. Are gonna go bot lane though. Just gonna leave that standing gold up for a little bit late. For a little bit later. A little bit of BM from Infinite Rampage.
This build is not going to work out. Stop trying to use it, man.
Yeah, I personally don't understand
it. Double
it.
Zeal and Blade of the Ruin King as your first 3 items and expect to deal damage. I know you said that it does well into tanks, but that's not assuming you're building 2 Zeals with it. Blade of the Ruin King ideally is good. Well, we have a team fight going in now.
Corbin actually going into Ugas, but they're going to pick up that
nice redemption
dragon
again.
Regardless. Good redemption like you just said, but he's just free hitting in this. Rock and Razor had to going in deep.
Look at
for the enemy ADC as no one else trying to take him out. Another missed flash dash from Infinite Rampage as Pern's the fifth one rather to follow, and that was a 4v5.
That was a 4v5, and I think it was as well played as you can expect from this team. Fifth Harmony knew their target prioritization, and I really want to commend Mother Milk for her peeling play this game. Her redemptions have been on point. She's managed to use her Hugify just at the right time to make sure she peels.
Yeah, this actually could be the game.
They're trying to push right now. They still have the Baron Duff minions. There's only Vi coming in now, but she's got no assault and battery. It looks like they're just going to go for the end.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the game. Corbin actually trying to jump in on the Jungle Milk. He's getting chunked pretty low, but he's not doing any sort of kiting. Who needs kites? Not him. He's just having a plain old Saturday. No kites.
Got it.
But yeah, died, and there goes the Nexus in a pretty interesting fashion. That is actually going to be Fifth Harmony taking this series 2-1 over Team Chemistry, which is kind of what we expected, but not in the fashion that we expected.
Right. I mean, two dominant games in a row. I do like how much more initiative they showed in that third and final game. You could see that they kind of knew what their strengths were. They felt a lot more confidence coming into the game, and they did manage to execute much more smoothly. They managed to capitalize on the over aggression we were getting from Rock'em Razor and Color C. They were just going a little too far forward to try and get a little bit of extra poke that was not worth it. And I really gotta say, buying BF swords early, both times, both games by Rock'em Razor, and then not building them into anything, that is literally just empty gold that you are getting. You don't buy BF swords that early on and just hold on to them for 20, 30 minutes. You just can't do that. It's just a waste of gold.
Yeah, I think a good adaptation from team chemistry to sort of stray away from the all-in team composition on their hypercarry Tristana. Although this time, or game 2, it was a Vayne. This time Tristana. They picked a little bit stronger lanes and a jungler, but still didn't seem to work out.
They picked a jungler. That's true. They did actually have a jungler this game, but
Yeah,
again, it didn't prove to be too much. I wanted to see the Vi come and pressure top lane more. That Swain was winning early on. He was managing to poke this Shen, definitely winning the laning phase, and also managed to keep the lane frozen on his side of the map. Yet we didn't see the Vi come up top and punish the Shen at all early on. Really just kind of rolled over and let themselves get pressured. Even though they were winning in multiple lanes, they just didn't do anything with that lead. Took some bad actual 5v5 skirmishes, and just it snowballed from there.
Yeah, you can see the damage charts here. It actually just looks like a huge middle finger from Jungle Milk having a pretty great performance on that Twitch.
Right, and I definitely want to credit once again to Mother Milk. Fantastic support play, definitely a lot higher level of play than we saw in the first game. He used the redemptions on point. Every single redemption healed multiple members, kept them topped off, kept them healthy, allowed them to stay in the fight for a longer period of time. And the Hugifies, also a couple of nice polymorphs onto carries in the middle of those fights as well. Infinite Rampage did time his Ws as well very well on the Twisted Fate P.I.K.A. cards. So we didn't see nearly as many gold cards actually come out from the Twisted Fate that could have maybe swung the fights in their favor. Just overall, I definitely like the peel this game. Definitely really showed how much more confidence they were feeling this game than last, and we're just going to ignore the fact that the ADCs both placed 2 wards this game.
Yep. Ignore that, but with that point, I believe that will be it from us. This has been Wumbo and LoveDi bringing you the action of Week 6. Elder Dragon League, rather. This has been the series between Fifth Harmony and Team Chemistry. We had some delays, we had some technical difficulties, but we got there. Fifth Harmony got there in a 2-1 victory over them. So from everyone here at Ascension eSports, thank you for watching and good night.